Homish and Rashi, the Torah portion Devarim, the last book of the 5 books of Moses, Devarim, Deuteronomy, second teachings. We go to the 6th reading, chapter 2, verse 31. Moshe continues in first person, speaking to the Jewish people who are about to enter the land in less than 2 months. Okay. Verse says, Vayomer Hashem, and Hashem said, Eli to me. So Moshe is saying, Moses is saying, that God said to me, Re'eh, see, behold, Hachi loisi, I have begun, Teis lefanecha, to place before you, as Sichain, Bes Artai, and his land, right, Sichain, the king, and his land, over here, across the Jordan River, on top over here. Hachel, begin, Rash, to take possession, Lareshis, in order to inherit Esartso, his land. Rashi in 31. I begun to give before you, to deliver before you. Kafa sar shelemorim shelmailam. He tied up the heavenly ministering angels of the Amoraim, Tachas raglav shel Moshe, beneath the feet of Moshe. Behedrichu al tzavare, and had Moshe step on his neck. Wow. How does that come to the simple meaning of the text? I am a little baffled, I must say. What does that mean?
I didn't know they had a guardian angel.
Every nation has a guardian angel. So that's something we know already because we've learned that already, right? So that's not. But this whole metaphor over here, under that tied up the ministering angels, that they're under the feet of Moshe. That Moshe steps on the neck of the angel. In other words, to conquer. We have to look, see if there's Sikha from the Rebbe on this, because this is quite sounding not simple meaning, but more allegorical, right? And Rashi comes to only explain the simple meaning. Why would he explain it? Why is he forced to say what he just said? But it's an important thing that we needed to understand. When Rashi says something, it's because it must be as such, by the simple meaning, not the homiletic, not the hinted meaning, not an esoteric meaning, but by the simple meaning. And the obvious question is, how is this the simple meaning of these words? Okay? 32. And they went out, Sichain. In other words, they came forward to the Krasenu to greet us, not to greet us in niceties, but to greet us in the battle. Who? The Cholama, him, meaning Sichain, the king, and his entire nation, Lemilchama, for a battle. Yatza, in Yatza, by the place called Yatza. Okay, Rashi in 32. He did not send the other Amorite king, Lazar, to help him, to teach us. They did not need each other. In other words, it says he went out in the singular, not that they went out, right? To stress that he and his fellow king Og were both formidable military powers. Each one had, in their own right, capable of fighting against anyone on their own right. If you remember, we learned this previously, that both these kings what were they doing? They were protecting Moab. They were protecting the Canaanites. They were such powerful, formidable powers, and they were delivered to the Jewish people. Hi. Okay. We're good? Yeah?
We're,
You're not good. You're great. If you're paying attention and following, then you're good. And you are great just because you are. Yes. So it's good to be good and it's good to be great. All
thank you.
right. 33. Vayineu Hashem Elokeinu lefanenu, and he gave, tain means to give, and he gave them Hashem our God lefanenu before us, v'nachoisei, and we smote him, v'ezbanav, and his sons, v'ezkolama, and his entire people. Rashi picks up on the words v'ezbanav, his sons, b'nai ksiv, it's spelled not with a yud, which would make it banav, but it's spelled without the yud, which it makes it benoi, his son, in the singular, not plural. Sha'ayulad ben Gibor Kamaisa, because he had Sichan had a son who was mighty as he. That's why.
What's written, but not, without the yud or?
It's written without the yud, but it's pronounced banav, not benoi. Right? So in other words, it has a double meaning.
It's written with the yud here. Here it's written with the yud.
We're talking about how it's written in the Torah.
Over here it says ksiv espernai.
We're talking about how the way it's written in not in a chumash. Don't get confused from a chumash and a sefer Torah. Sefer Torah is the way it's written. A chumash might be written the way it's pronounced.
Plus
Right?
the addition is here. What he's looking at, it's mentioned.
Okay. All right. Good.
Ksiv baseline.
Right. Yeah, that's the way it's written over here. If you look on Chabad.org, that's the way it's written. Right.
Thank you. Now I know.
So we have often. I mean, it's not seldom, but it's there that it's written one way, pronounced another way, right? And there's sichos on the Rebbe explaining that concept, but not for now.
Notice.
34. The Nilkaid, and we conquered is called Arab, all of his cities, Be'esahi at that time. Benachreim, and we destroyed as called Ir, every city, Misim, and we destroyed every city, Misim Benoshim, Ve'atav, Lahi Sharnu, Sarit. So every city, men, women, and young children were not left as survivors. Rashi in 34 Misim, Anashim, he says. It means people, men, right? That's not a term that we usually have, right? Usually it would be Anashim v'Nashim. Rashi continues, by the looting of Sichin, it says we looted for ourselves. Lashon Biza denotes looting that was precious to them. That each man looted for himself. When it came to looting of Oig, they were already satisfied in full, and others they had enough. It was contemptible in their eyes. And they would slash and throw away animals and clothes. But they only took silver and gold. That's why it says bazanu lanu, that we took the loot of Oig, that we looted ourselves for ourselves, bazanu lanu lashon bizoyin, which is an expression of disdain.
Rabbi, did they plunder and loot every nation, all 7 nations?
No, it depends. It depends. Depends whatever anyway, look. Yeah, that's Kach Nidrash B'Sifri, so it's explained in the Sifri, but Pashas Vayesh B'Yisrael B'Shitim. Yeah, in the end of Bamidbar. So in other words, this is really in the next verse. Let's go take a look. Ra kabehema bazanu lanu v'shlal ha'arim asher lachadnu. So we took only the cattle as ludi for ourselves, along with the spoils of the cities that we had taken. I don't get it either, because we just said, yeah. I don't get it either.
Why the whole Rashi on 34 is not on 35?
Good question.
He's referring to the word bazaznu, which is not in 34.
Yeah, good question.
About the word bazaznu.
Yeah. Excellent question.
Footnote says this as below. But then doesn't answer the question.
Good question.
Seems to say the opposite. Rashi seems to say the opposite of what
What the verse is saying.
the verse is saying.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's introducing it first.
Also, another question is, look where he's putting it. By misim, by the word anashim. So the word misim is telling us something, right? That means men. And then regard the plundering, right? That's Rashi's bothered by that word, that it means men. It has to mean something else. It has to do with the pillaging that they pillaged in this manner. Although how it's, that
He doesn't relate.
he does no. I'm saying I'm giving you I don't know. I don't have the understanding behind it. I'm giving you the parameter. I'm giving you the what the building looks like as a skeleton without the bricks, because I don't know what that connection is, but it's obvious. But the point I'm making is that it's obvious as an answer. What you'd have to look into is that it's got to do with the word misim, that it means men, and therefore he continues to be sichain, right, and so on. He continues with that. So it's based on that he's making his explanation. What that means, I don't know. I'm just giving you the pathway. But wait, let's see if there's a sikha from the Rebbe on that. Yes.
Like that.
36. Rak, only, as Eretz B'nai Amoin, the land of the descendants of Amoin, Loi Karavta, you did not draw near.
36, Rabbi.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yes, I skipped. Thank you.
Well,
All right. Me'aror er, from aror er, asher lois al sfas nachal Arnoin, that is on the edge of the valley of Arnoin, v'ha'ir asher ben nachal, and the city that is there in the nachal, in the valley, v'ad Gilad, until Gilad, loy haisa kriya. There was not a kriya, a city, asher sagfa mimenu, that was too strong for us. Ki akil nasan Hashem alekenu lefanenu, because Hashem has given everything before us. There's a sikha on the Rebbe on this. Yeah, there's sikha, a beautiful sikha. The Rebbe on this that I learned with my son, Yosef, but not for now. Okay, 37. Rak, only, has Eretz been not a Rashi sikha, by the way, because there's no Rashi here. Right? Just the on the words of the verse themselves, that Rak, only, as Eretz B'nai Amoin, the land of the descendants of Amoin, Lo Karavta, you did not draw near. Call Yad, by the hand of, meaning near Nachal Yabuk, by the valley of Yabuk, the Ari Hahar, and the cities of the mountain, b'chol asher tziva Hashem Elokeinu, and everything that Hashem our God has commanded. Rashi in 37, Kol Yad Nachal Yabig. Kol Eitzel Nachal Yabig means next to the valley of Yabok. Here's Yabok. Over here by Amoy, across from Shechem. Shechem in Israel, right across the Jordan River. On the other side of the Jordan River, that's where the Yabok River and the valley is. Huh?
Your God?
Shechem is over here, and the Yabok River and valley is over here.
Shem is much lower. It's near Jerusalem.
This is,
That's like a biblical.
I don't know.
They moved it.
Not to conquer, Hinachnu, we left alone. Okay, we're in chapter 3, verse 1. V'nefein, and we turned Venal, and we went up Derech Habashan we went upwards, which means to the north, right? The way of Bashan. V'yetze Oig, and he came out Oig, Melech Habashan, the king of Bashan, Likraseinu, to greet us. Who? Him. V'chol Amay, and all of his nation, L'milchama, for battle. Not to give Shalom Aleichem, but for a battle. Edrei, at Edrei. Rashi, B'nefein Ne'al, Kol Tzat Sofein, Hu Aliyah. Meaning, we turned and went northward, which is going up, right? That's what it means to go up. Number 2, Vayomer Hashem, and Hashem said, Eli, he said to me, Al Tira, do not be fearful, Oisei, of him, meaning Oig. He was a strong guy. Ki v'yadcha nasati Oisei, because in your hands I have given him. V'es kol Amoy, and his entire nation. V'es Artzai, and his land. V'asisa, and you shall do loy, to him, kasher sisa, as you had done, l'sichain, to Sichain, melech HaMoiri, the king of the Amorites, asher yoshe b'cheshbon, that he's dwelling in Cheshbon.
That word gun or that?
Here's Cheshbon. Cheshbon is over here. Okay. Below Amoy. Right, Ammon they're not starting up with, right? Ammon they're not, they can show strength, can battle, right? Right, because of the younger daughter, and Sichon they already we spoke about it. Okay, so Rashi in number 2 says Al Tira, he said, don't fear him. But concerning Sichon, it says it wasn't necessary to say Al Tira. Say, if you recall, it did not say not to fear him, right? Moshe was, however, afraid that the merit of Oig, having served Avram, would stand on his behalf. Because it says the fugitive came, and that was Oig. In other words, and there's a sikh on the Rebbe on this also. There's quite a fascinating sikha that brings out that he had a merit, and because of that, he was fearful that that would stand him well in the battle against the Jewish people. Therefore, he feared him and didn't fear Sichai.
Like the 4 kings.
Yeah. Number 3, Vayitain Hashem Elokeinu, and Hashem, he gave our God, he gave to us Biyadenu in our hands. Gam is Oig, also it's Oig, Melech, the king of Bashan, Veskolama and his entire people, Ben Akehu, and we smit him ad bilti until there was no Hishir Loi Sarid, until there was no remnant that remained of him. Rashi, in verse number 4, the Nilkaid, and we conquered, is called Arav, Aroi. Arav, sorry, yeah. We conquered all of his cities, Be'esahi at that time. There was not a city that we did not take mitam from them. Shishim year, 60 cities. Kol Chevel Argoig Mamlechas Oig Bashan. The entire territory of Oig. The Chevel is, as we'll see in Rashi in a moment, it refers to a royal palace in the kingdom of Oig in Bashan. Rashi in number 4.
Must be past that.
Well, it was in the past. Yeah. It's past it. Yeah. Chevel Argoig Rashi says in the region of the royal palace, Mitagimim, according to Onkelus's translation, Beis Plach Terachoina. The area Terachoina, V'Rais, and I've seen Targum Yerushalmi b'Megillas Esther, Targum Yerushalmi in the Megillas Esther, Koire lepaltrin Terachoinin, that a palace is called a Trachnei. So we learn from here that Chevel Argoiv means a Prachia Heichel Melech, the province of the royal palace, right? It's like the capital, right? Means like the capital. Kaloimar and others that the kingdom is called in its name Argoiv, the Malachim, and similar we have is Argoiv in the book of Kings. It says Eitzel Heichel Melech next to the royal palace. Hargo Pekach Pekachia. Pekachia killed Pekach killed Pekachia. Lamadati, from this we learn Shachnizol Shem Parchaya, that the province was named, in others, after its capital, after its palace. Number 5, Kol Eila Arim, all of these cities. No, just showing a similar idea in the Book of Kings. That's all. Right, that the area is called after the palace. So all of these cities, Bitsurais, Chaima, that are fortified with high walls, high walls that are high, Velosim, with doors, Obriach, and bolts, Levad, aside from Me'aria, Prizi, Harbe Ma'oib, aside from the great many unwalled cities. Rashi, number 5, Me'aria, Prizi, aside from the open cities, Prazes, that are unenclosed, Psuchis, and they're open, Beloy Chaima, without a wall. Chaim Protestation of Yerushalayim, as we see in the verse in Zechariah, that Jerusalem shall sit open. In other words, that shows on a greater strength, that you don't need even a walled city to protect you. Right? That's even greater strength. Benachrim, and we utterly destroyed Oisam them. Kasher Asinu, as we did, this is to Oig Melech Bashan, right? As we did Lesichain, as we did to Sicha Melech Cheshbon, the king of Cheshbon. Hachreim, we destroyed as Kol Ir, all of the city, Misim, the men, Banashim, the women, Vataf, and the children. Rashi, Hachreim Lashin, Hoive, Hoilech, Becholais. So the Hachareim, right, is in present tense, meaning it's an ongoing process of destruction. What that means, I don't know. Because they weren't destroying at that time. Further, this is only Moshe speaking. What does it mean in present tense, that continuous destruction?
This pasuk also uses the word Musim for men.
Yeah, exactly. Verse number 6.
Say any implication of.
Because maybe the implication was already said. Right, because there's a juxtaposition to what was before. I don't know. We don't. I don't know. It's for sure connected to that, because otherwise it wouldn't be in that Devarim Maschil. It would be a separate quotation from the verse and not from that quotation. The fact it's from the quotation Misim, meaning men, is a proof that Rashi is continuing the explanation with the next explanation about how they plundered. That's for sure connected because it's in the Divrei Maschil. That's not a question. Chol behema, and all of the animals, v'sholol, and all of the spoils. Wow, ha'arim bazu lanu.
What's going on? They took or they left, they destroyed.
I mean, I don't know where the word score bazanu. Oh, bazanu, lanu. So Rashi, this is from what he quoted earlier, and that's why and others they took it. I'm seeing a connection, but I'm not going to go there now because I want to look it up. Okay, but we're going further that way because we're not, otherwise we're not going to finish. Okay, number 8. Benikach, and we took Beisahi at that time is Eretz, Haaretz, the land, Miyad, from the hands, Shnei Malchei HaAmori, from the 2 kings of the Amorites, Asher be'ever HaYarden, that are over the Transjordan, Minachal Arnoin, from the river Arnoin, right, or the brook Arnoin, Ad Har Chermoin, until Mount Chermoin.
There were 2 kingdoms.
Right. They were both kings of in the Amorim kings. So I don't know what Tar Chermoin is. Okay, next. Miyad Mirishus, from the possession. Number 9. Tzidonim Yikru LeChermoin, would call to Chermoin Syrian, Chermoin Syrian. Okay, but Amori Yikru Lo Snir, but the Amorites would call it Snir. Rashi, Tzidonim Yikru LeChermoin, the Sidonites they would call to Chermoin Syrian b'malkam acher u'omer. Elsewhere it says V'ad Har Sion hu Chermoin, until Mount Sion, which is Chermoin. Harei Loi Arba Shemas, it had 4 names. Lama Chuchuli Kosev, why does the Torah need to tell us this? Mahagit Shevel Shel Eretz Israel, to tell us how great the land of Israel is. Shahod you Arba Malchias Misparais, because that the 4 kings, they boasted it in this manner. Zuaimeres, one would say, Al Shmi Yikra, the Chermoin was called a my name. Zuaimeres, another would say, Al Shmi Yikra, that it was called a my name. In other words, each one, how great it is. And we conquered it. And it's not as good as the land of Israel. That I'm not clear on what it wants to say over here. Snir, Hushelik, that means snow. Lashon Ashkenaz, a German language, but Lashon Canaan, and in Canaanite language, a Slavic family language. Interesting. Wow.
Shnei.
Okay, number 10. Kol Are Hamishor, all of the cities of the plain. V'chol HaGilad, and all of Gilad. V'chol HaBashan, and all of Bashan. Ad Salcha, until Salcha, Ve'edrei, and Edrei. Ari Mamleches, Oig HaBashan. These are the royal cities of Oig Malech HaBashan, of the king of Bashan. Kirak, number 11. Kirak Oig Melech HaBashan, because only the Oig, the king of Bashan, Nisha Miyasar Rephaim, he remained as a leftover, the remnant from the Rephaim. This is previous in the book of Genesis. Hine Arsei Eres Barzel Alohi Berabas Bnei Amain. So behold, his bed was an iron bed. Right, Eris is a bed. Arsa, his bed. Eris is a bed of iron. Alohi b'Rabbas b'nei Amain, is he not in Rabbah of the descendants of Amain? Teisha Amais Arko. This bed was 9 cubits in length, ba'arba amas rachba, and 4 cubits in its width, ba'amas ish, and a cubit of a man. Whoa, Rashi. And number 11, Mieser Harifidim, from the leftovers, the remaining of the Rephoim rather, Shahargo Amraphel Bechaverev, that they killed Amraphel and his colleagues. Those were the 4 that killed the 5. Ashtar is Karnaim, and Ashtar is Karnaim, but who Apollid in a Melchama, and he escaped the war. Shenemar, as it says, V'yava Apollid, the fugitive came, Zewoig, and that was Oig. Ba'amas Eish, a cubit of a man. Ba'amas Oig, the cubit of Oig. Okay, there's sichas on this too. Oh yeah, there's so much here. Yes, and this land we took possession at that time. From Aroer Asher al Nachal Arnoin, which is by the valley of Arnoin, Gilad, and half of the mountain of Gilad. Ba'arav and its cities, and Asati the Reuven and the Gadi. I gave to Reuven and to Gad. What happened to Menashe? Half of Menashe. Rashi in number 12. This honor says this land refers to Ha'amuel Maila, that which is said earlier. Menachal Arnon Har Chermoin, that we said in verse number 8, right? Yarashna Beisahi, we took possession at that time. Asher Menachal Arnon. It's not connected. To the beginning of the verse, a little safer, but to the end of the verse. Nasati Reuven, they gave to Reuven and to God, but taking possession, it was up to the Mount Hermon, the greater area that was mentioned in our verse. In other words, we took possession of a greater place than that Reuven and God got. Okay, verse 13. The Yeser and the rest, Gilad of Gilad, is Bashan, the whole Bashan and all of Bashan, Mamlechas Oeg, the kingdom of Oeg, the Sati Lechetzi Shevet Menashe. Oh, okay. I gave to half of the tribe of Menashe, Chol Chevel Argoiv, and the entire region of the royal palace, the whole Bashan Ahu, Yikar Eretz Rephoim, and all of the Bashan that was called the land of the Rephoim. Rashi in 13, Ahu Yikar Eretz Rephoim. He Oisa Shinasati Avram, that which I gave to Avram. Okay, last verse. Yair ben Menashe. Yair, the son of Menashe, Lakach is called Chevel Argoiv. He took the entire kingdom or the region, the royal palace, Ad Gvul Hageshuri, until the border of Geshuri Ba'Machosi, Vikra Oisam, and he called them Al Shmoy on his name. Esa Bashan, Chavis Yair. Bashan he called Chavis Yair. Right, his name was Yair. Until this very day. No Rashi. Whoa. I thought we'd have time, but we don't. No, we'll see you in a few moments.
I thought we finished.
We finished, but we got to do now.
Oh, you're
Tanya.
not gonna do anything.